Clicking on a target area and then dragging it can pose challenges for certain users. In this unit, we're looking into success criterion 2.5.7, which explains dragging movements. I'll detail the intent of this criterion and what it actually means, explain the impact to the user, the criterion addresses, some ways it could be passed, ways it won't, and follow with the summary of what you need to do to pass. By the end of the unit, you'll have a solid understanding of why it matters, understand the user's impact, and how to pass the criterion. 2.5.7 dragging movements is a criterion to help users with reduced fine motor control or who use trackball, head wand or speech control mouse emulators, and this is a AA criterion. To pass, you need to ensure dragging movement functionality can be activated by a single pointer without dragging. Some people cannot perform dragging movements in a precise manner or accurately press and hold the mouse button whilst repositioning the pointer. An alternative method must be provided for those users who use a pointing device. At first glance, it could be assumed this requires dragging features to be keyboard accessible. However, a keyboard alternative for a dragging operation does not automatically pass this criterion. This is the requirement that the act of dragging is replaced with an alternative method. So we know the problem the criterion attempts to solve, but what is the impact to a user? This is Susan. She is quadriplegic and uses a head wand to navigate on-screen content. Although she is confident navigating the web, when content requires dragging, she has to ask her sister for help and has to find a time when her sister is free. You might be thinking to just include a button alternative and this criterion is passed. Unfortunately not. Because people using a touchscreen device may not use a physical keyboard, this success criterion is only concerned with pointer interaction. Where interactions occur via dragging movements, an equivalent option must exist that allows for single pointer interaction without dragging. Dragging interactions covered in this criterion are pointer interactions where only the beginning and ending points matter. Once the pointer engages with a target, the direction of the dragging movement does not factor into the interaction until the pointer disengages the target. For list item 1, dragging is still allowable as long as it's combined with another technique. Clicking the pick button adjacent to the list item followed by the drop button on the row destination would be a technique which could pass the criterion. So what exactly does passing this success criterion look like? Drag and drop controls can still be used, since the user can still grab an element and drag it from A to B as before, but they can also click the element at point A, release the pointer and then click the target at point B to move the element from A to B. This passes. Since the user can enter a precise value for the slider in an input, this also passes. In such a situation, the on-screen keyboard that appears for touch users offers a single pointer means of entering an alphanumeric value. Text-based input is sufficient to meet this criterion because text input is mode independent. What does failing this success criterion look like? A list of items can be reordered by selecting and dragging. Since there is no alternative way to reorder the list via a single pointer input, this fails. Not all users can accurately press and hold the mouse while repositioning the pointer. An alternative method must be provided for any drag interactions. You may be thinking this success criterion only requires dragging features to be keyboard accessible. However, a keyboard equivalence alone for a dragging option does not automatically meet this success criterion. Dragging interactions require an equivalent option that allows for single pointer interaction without dragging. Providing a button alternative will not pass this criterion. It's the motion of dragging which requires an alternative interaction method. Provide buttons to replace drag and drop behavior. Provide additional text fields for slider controls where a user can enter a value. In the next unit, I'll look at 2.5.8 target size, a AA criterion which discusses techniques for increasing the pointer target size.